Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America and all the ships at sea, if I may do a callback to 1930s Walter Winchell radio styles. Listen, we are here with you, as always, on Fridays with Behind the Numbers. Andrew and I, as always, are delighted to join you to talk to you about the political landscape as defined by polling. And as always, we go into the morning and say, it can't get worse for Trump. And yet, somehow, every freaking Friday, it gets worse.
I want to tell you this is like a dynamic and complicated picture here, but it's really not. We're really not seeing that.
The math is getting pretty much linear at this point.
Yeah, I would say close to linear. He's in such dangerous territory for any elected official. Being below 40% approval is your career over.
Yeah,
completely ended.
Done.
You don't bounce back from below this approval. I can't think of a good example of an individual.
There has not been.
It's just not possible, and especially at his age. There's no way he can come back from this. I suspect, and I know I'm saying he's got a floor here, but this is going to start to look stickier because we're approaching the MAGA bottom here, where if 1/3 of the
number of people left have actually been to a rally.
Right. Yeah. We're approaching that number. We're getting very close.
Yeah.
And that's where it'll probably plateau and this will stop. But there's no, this is the kind of approval that is, Americans reserve for Stalin, Saddam, like the worst kinds.
Right. Like bin Laden would have a chance of beating Trump in a primary at this point. It's just like, it's really bad.
Insane. So this is our
this is a classic indicator in campaigns, folks. If you want to look at whether you're going to have a change election or not, okay? Change elections tend to happen when these numbers are greater than 10 points apart. That is a bigger number than 10, as all of you may be able to see. That is 30 points. Well, it's 26 points apart, okay? This is not great for this White House and this Republican Party. This is a red line, because right direction, wrong track. So a lot of times when you ask somebody, and you, Andrew, you know this, when you ask a person, how's your personal economic situation? Oh, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
How's your neighbors? Oh, I guess okay.
I like my neighbors. I get along with my neighbors. Right. Yeah, that kind of stuff.
How's your states? Well, not so great. How's the country? Terrible.
Yeah.
This is what, and the top number is what drives that sense. The wrong track leads people to say, I'm done with this. The way we're doing it.
Yeah. I mean, there's no real overstating this. Like 26 points on a direction of the country question. I know this is an aggregate. So we're looking at the average of polls here. It might be slightly higher, slightly lower. That's more people. Can you get 2/3 of people to agree on just about anything?
It was not even this bad during the worst days before the surge in Iraq, with the worst polling on Iraq.
Yeah,
this is a fascinating figure, guys, because when you look at it, Trump had a burst of optimism at the end of 2025.
Yep.
That sense of, okay, finally the businessman will take care of the inflation. How's that working out for you? Because you look at that chart, and people we're not quite down to where Biden was in the lowest points, obviously, but we can see the neighborhood coming up in the next couple of exits off the highway.
And if we could like see behind the curtain here of all these aggregates of polls, I think what you'd be seeing is that likely voters are more likely to say that we're on the wrong track.
Oh yeah.
If you dug into the people who are most likely to vote and most likely to vote for Donald Trump, you would see that they are more likely to say, or I'm sorry, they were in Donald Trump's coalition in 2024. Those people are probably more likely to say now that we're going in the wrong direction because they identify as independents and anti-war and all that stuff. And what you see with independents, he is 3-1 disapproval with independents right now. 3-1. His number with independents is as bad as his number on the economy overall. It's like there's no There's no way.
There's that long stretch we talked about, the 2-to-1 ratio that was sort of very consistent over time.
Yeah.
60 to 25, 27, somewhere in there. And now 3-to-1 is where the negotiating has stopped in people's heads. They're not trying to make excuses anymore. Even his supporters that are fading off are not trying to make the excuses that they once had.
No, they're furious.
Yeah. They angry. They're very, very angry.
Yeah. And this is all about the Iran war too. And the
every bit of
this has come down to the Iran war. You know, I say this all the time, that if Trump had just rode the AI wave,
of course,
he would have been fine. And now
if he had just like gone to, you know, gone to Mar-a-Lago and played golf, he would have been fine.
He would have been fine. And man, he just like, it's hard to like bring up a historical comparison here, because Joe Biden had some god awful polling at the end there.
Okay.
And he dropped off in a major way, but it was still in what we expect for strong negative numbers. You know,
right. It had a boundary.
And, you know, he looked to be in free fall at the end of his presidency, but this is something else.
But the thing about Biden, you also never had the polling that said Biden's dishonest or corrupt or doesn't care about people like me. And that care about people like me number, folks, Democrats had a long time advantage on it. Trump took it back for a while. Then he lost it during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to lose it again during hantavirus, or as I call it, COVID-2 plague boogaloo.
If you ever needed another reason not to get on a cruise ship, there you go.
Right.
I was saying before the show, you know, nothing's really changed at sea in the last 400 or 500 years. I would just generally stay away.
Bad food, bad water, bad diseases. You know, maybe we don't get scurvy as frequently, but so Andrew, I want to talk about one of the big drivers here on the pain, the pain people are feeling, and that is these gas prices. Let's go ahead. We've got a couple clips on that. Or a couple slides on that. Let's do that first slide.
Yeah. 8 in 10 Americans say feel strain in their budget due to gas prices. And check out where the gas prices are spiking the highest. It's in some really important states. Look at Ohio and Michigan right there.
Michigan.
And Pennsylvania is another one of those states.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona and Nevada and Florida. I mean, these are critical states for Trump. Look at Maine, for example. You know, we got Graham Plattner coming up.
Yeah.
We got a lot of elections coming up, and a lot of these states are critical. You know, he's really stepped in something awful with this. It couldn't be hurting in worse places.
You know, and it's fascinating to me because the new line that we're hearing out of Kevin Hassett and others is like, oh, well, the stock market's doing so great, it's offsetting the gas prices. That 8 and 10 number proves that is a lie for Americans. They are not buying that argument. No, like, oh, well, my 401k is booming, and therefore that ain't working, chief.
And think about this. You even see this chart up here from AAA. Even the lowest gas price, even what they're measuring as the lowest national retail price, the high for that is $4.1. So that's still $4 gas when that was not the reality last year. And it's impossible to hide from voters. And
again, it's an unspendable. You can't sit there, no matter how much you love Donald Trump, and put gas in your car once a week or twice a week or whatever the number is, depending on your commute. You can't sit there and go, this gas is $2 a gallon, because it's not.
No. And the other problem here is that this is verbatim what Trump ran on. He ran on gas prices, and that creates a major problem for him and for Republicans across the board, because this is one of those things that they lean on. They lean on gas prices, and they lean on the stock market. And, you know, you lose that suddenly you, when you can't lean on gas prices, the opposition can. And this is a really big opportunity for Democrats to just draw a big line. Like, this happened, you know, it didn't get this expensive under Biden during inflation. But this is a totally different animal.
You know, Andrew, I was listening to someone talk this morning, and there was a fascinating observation. And it was that as the gas prices have spiked, particularly in the last month, we're now also watching the taper off of tax refunds. So those tax refunds that hit after filing, those are now burned through.
Yeah,
people have spent
we have
money on gas.
We have some clips here, and I think that's relevant to what you're talking about here.
Yeah,
let's see those clips.
More than $4.50.
Well, no, gas prices have come down today. Have you looked? They've come down very substantially today. The gas prices, you know what's happened today? Gas prices are way down.
He's panicked.
I put up my tank $85. That's ridiculous.
And it's just a lie.
So
it's just a lie.
We just got it right before that one clip, but the guy says he spends 1/3 of his
let's play that clip. Let's play that.
I put up my tank $85. That's ridiculous.
We spend like 1/3 of a check just on gas.
Look at that right there. 627.74.
Flying J, baby.
Hell yeah.
Flying
we
J.
love that place. 1/3 of a check on your gas bill.
Yes.
That's what you spend on your mortgage. Like how
hypothetically,
and that is
Andrew,
unreal.
I think that theory of the case, gas prices are going to continue to either stay the same or rise. There's no prediction where there's a downward trend until about December. And no, I mean, I talked to somebody who was a oil and gas analyst the other day who said, right now, we always look several months out, and right now, this will last at least this level, if not more, until December.
Yeah, and like you said before, the people who got a good tax refund, who got a big tax refund, probably were looking at that. They were probably planning on saving it,
sure,
just because the job market's really slow right now. There's a lot of uncertainty. But instead of saving it, they had to spend it on gas in the last 10 weeks. So those are gone. And this was going to be one of those things that Republicans and Trump leaned on, because you could see they were teeing up the messaging about the tax breaks and the refunds, the biggest refund of all time, whatever.
Right.
You can't lean on that anymore because those refunds have all evaporated. They're gone now.
Where'd it go, Donald? Oh, it was converted in the engine of your truck.
Yeah.
But like you said, this is all being driven by the war.
Yes.
All the economic down notes are being driven by the war. And luckily the war is only 6 weeks long. And somehow Donald Trump is invented a time machine.
And this is also just a bizarre. It's bizarre to be bringing up the length of the war.
And calling it an excursion.
And then having the U.S. Civil War on here. It's just, what are we doing?
This is not the flex they think it is in the White House. But
and this is coming straight from him, because this is one of his panicked responses.
Yep.
And that's of course why it's totally flat.
He is in a state of very deep distress right now. I don't know if you caught the thing last night when he was driving. He was out wheeling around on the reflecting pool.
Yeah.
And he would spend several minutes screaming at a reporter like a hysterical child.
Yeah. I don't think people are really buying his excuses anymore. You can see there was some Pew polling from this week that showed that he is, the perception of his characteristics, like, is he mentally fit? Is he physically fit? It's going down and down and down.
Yep. Even a plurality of Republicans now are like, nah, Chief, this ain't it.
No. And, you see a certain spin, actually. Tucker Carlson has been out here against the war, trying to sort of, I think it's a very cynical move to try and.
I wrote about it. It's coming. It's coming.
But what I think in some ways he's giving cover to Trump by not acknowledging the fact that Donald Trump is mentally ill and senile to a massive degree. He still won't say that. He still is saying that Trump is a competent individual, and that just can't be true at this point.
No one's buying that particular line at this point, and I don't think anybody who observes the increasing spasms of really uncontrolled anger, that they look at that and go, wow, he seems like he's really on his game. Nobody's buying it at all. I think you're exactly right. So we've also had another round of redistricting kerfuffle this week with Tennessee, which is why, and I've said this elsewhere, I'm not going to make this show about one of my rants, but Democrats in New York right now, Kathy Hochul, right now, Kathy, call an emergency session, just like these guys are doing based on the Supreme Court decision. They say, oh, it's an emergency. The Supreme Court made it. And then you redistrict out down to one Republican. You can reduce New York's delegation to one Republican if you do the math. Just do it. Just fucking do it. These people are bringing the proverbial gun to the knife fight.
Yeah.
Okay. And Democrats are like, oh, a knife fight with a gun? I can't do that. I'm going to bring a policy folder. Get moving, and they will stop doing this.
They made it into an arms race, but you really have no choice but to participate.
Yep, that is we're the U.S. and Russia in the 1950s.
Yeah, this is not an amazing situation. I am not happy to see this. But that being said, Republicans have had a recent history of dummy manders. So you never know. You could
listen. I'm seeing stuff in Florida. When you reduce some of those seats from R+12 and R+10 down to R+6, R+4,
you can't squeeze them too long, and because
there's only so much peanut butter you can spread out on the toast.
That's true. And when you make those races more competitive, you make this election more dangerous for Republicans.
Yep.
Like they're upping the ante in a serious way. And it's up to Democrats to meet that. But they are really risking a lot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. We look at Tennessee, a state you and I know a little bit, and you watch them do this incredibly public shutout of Justin Johnson there the other day. I have a feeling, and I was on with Joy Reid yesterday, we were talking about this a little bit. There's a sense now, I think, among black voters, it goes beyond just wanting a black candidate in a district. Now there's a sense that like these guys are aggressively trying to
shut them out.
Unwind black voting rights, period.
Yeah.
And I suspect she's right about that. And I think we're going to end up with a big surge in African Americans who are just like, fuck this and fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody wants neo Jim Crow from Mike Johnson and his freaks. They will never admit it, but this is what they're trying to do. It's because they care way more about power than they do about Americans.
Of course.
They want to hold on to power for as long as they possibly can.
That's all it is.
And that's what Trump was about. That's what all of this is about.
Every inch of it is about the retaining and maintaining power. That's every inch of it.
Yeah.
Well, what else we got?
What else we
national
got?
debt versus GDP. That's great news. We're doing great.
We're
doing great. Nothing could go wrong here.
And this was, this is an interesting thing when you still have conversations with conservatives and in polling, you still see that Republicans have a degree of trust when it comes to, dealing with the national debt.
Right.
It's unearned in many ways, I think.
I don't think it's earned at all, right?
But
not in this day and age.
Not in this day and age. But this is again one of those things you can't run on. They have done nothing to slow the growth of the
Democrats will run up the national debt. Well, we've run up more national debt in the last year and a half than Joe Biden did in 4.
I mean, it would be an achievement to slow down the growth of the national debt. But they can't even, they talk about paying it down with tariffs.
Never happened.
What a load of shit.
It was a load of shit from the beginning.
Good Lord.
Never happened. It never happened. And not only did it never happen, it was among the neverest things that never happened.
Oh man.
And yesterday's trade court decision came out and just basically said, yep, nope, your extra 10% backup plan for super tariffs no longer valid, Mr. President. Oops.
Yeah, and the refunds have started. This is another one of those things. I think it's more invisible right now, tariffs and these refunds. But it's one of those things that the ads write themselves. Democrats could be out there saying, not only did they raise your taxes without
your prices and your taxes
and your prices and your taxes, they're now having to pay the money back to the company and not to you.
And the Lutnick family is cashing in on it because they bought tariff warrants from companies for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, we had a question about corruption in the chat. I don't think we have any slides about that right now, but it is an increasing issue in polling. You can see that people are taking notice in a major way of the family's corruption, but especially Trump himself and the White House.
Yeah, it is. That is popping out there, and corruption, folks, as I say all the time, is a killer app.
It is, and
Democrats need to keep connecting the corruption in Washington. They're getting everything they want. They're making billions with the harm that administration is causing to people. And while the Republicans let them, you're getting screwed.
Yep. That's exactly it. Well, if only we could tell them exactly what to say.
If only. Sadly, they don't. Sadly, they don't want to live in that world. But look, we had a big week. I want to play this one more clip of this MAGA guy because I think it speaks to a lot of this.
For Trump too, I'm not saying I disagree with him, but I think it's getting a little bit carried away. He's more concerned about the war over there and killing everybody over here with increased prices, and he just doesn't seem to care. And this big, beautiful bill didn't help me.
That is somebody who spent all of their tax refund on gas.
On gas. I promise you that guy spent all his tax refund on gas. Yep.
And you lose, that sort of middle American type of person. And you can see, we saw that Ohio is one of those states where gas prices are spiking.
Yep. And look, Ohio, there's an argument to be made that Ohio had transformed from a swing state in the 2000s to a purple state in the late teens to a beet red, ruby red, super Republican state. And the reason, folks, that happened is all the young people moved away because Ohio's economy is not great.
Yeah.
So what you have left is a lot of older, white, angry voters. Those used to be Trump's absolute core demo. There's a reason why Amy Acton and David Pepper are competitive in the governor's race. It's because the people that are left there have been promised an economic miracle since 2016, and it never happened.
And they're still angry.
And now, slowly, their anger is turning on the people who actually caused their problem, not the imaginary threat of Haitians eating dogs and cats. So,
there you go.
All right, folks, I got a bump. I got another interview coming up here in a minute. Catch me today on Katie Tur at 2 p.m. And we'll have a Elephant in the Room podcast video for you guys later today as well. And while you're at it, check out on YouTube the new Lincoln Project advocacy ad called Sure. You'll know it when you see it. And Donald Trump's going to be seeing it all weekend long. Oops. All right, guys. Andrew, see you later.
See ya.
See you, folks.